Recording. Good morning and welcome to SunRISE. This is SunRISE with Dr. Surajit Khanna, and you can join us at Khanna for Kids, the number 4 Kids on Facebook. It's a good morning message brought to you by KhannaForKids.com. And a short snippet of the news for today's youth every Monday, Wednesday, a little bit after 9 o'clock. Join us on Facebook.com, Khanna for Kids, and other social channels. And we always talk about our radio show. We have a 1-hour radio show on Fridays. Please join us at the same time at 3 p.m., the same time every week. Dr. Khanna is an attorney, a child safety advocate, a servant of the underserved, champion of the nonprofit organization, Voice of the Kids. He also started the Post-Incarceration Juvenile Justice Reformation Act initiative. We call it the Returning Youth Initiative at returningyouth.com. When he looked at the Reformation Act, he noticed that it did not really adequately care for ex-offenders and decided he would address this with his returningyouth.com initiative, where we are returning underserved, post-incarcerated young adults back to a productive life by providing them housing, training, along with the required medical and psychological assistance needed to secure a job, build their careers, and greatly improve their lives. Good morning and welcome, Dr. Surajit Khanna.
Good morning, Gary. Good morning, everyone. Those are listening and will be listening to this wonderful Monday morning, March 28th, I believe today is, right? Or 29th. Well, a few things in the history happened on this day, and we'll start with happy birthday of the award-winning singer and actress, Pearl Bailey. She was born today in 1918 in Newport, Virginia. She is beautiful and she was a famous singer and award-winning singer. So let's wish her a happy birthday to start the Monday morning with wishing somebody a happy birthday, especially who has done so much for this country, being in a wonderful singer and actress, Pearl Bailey. Well, one other interesting thing happened this day. We all know the state of Delaware. We always say that state of Delaware is the first state. And do you know why it is? Well, today is the day in 1631, the first European settlement happened by the Dutch. So what happened on this day? Well, Delaware has a history behind it. It was founded today in 1631, and then there was a lot of disagreements between the Native Americans and a lot of other groups. They always wanted to take Delaware as a control. Okay, so after this, in 1638, the Swedish wanted, and they got it as a New Sweden, and then the Dutch again got it from New Sweden and was defeated in 1655. Then English seized the colony from the Dutch in 1664, and then it just goes on. And finally, it came in the hand of New York in 1673, and the New York was controlling it, administering it, 1682, until William Penn of Pennsylvania, he made it to part of the Pennsylvania colony. In 1704, he allowed Delaware to be its own assembly. So Pennsylvania and Delaware shared and one appointed governor until 1776. So Thomas West was the first governor of Delaware, who shared also, he was the governor of Virginia. So this all battle happened, but today is the day in 1631, Delaware was kind of, became the founder or from the colonies. One other thing, important thing happened on this day, that is in 1961, the 23rd Amendment to the US Constitution was ratified. And because of that ratification, the residents of Washington, D.C., remember, Washington, D.C. is not a state. So the residents of Washington, D.C. were never allowed to vote for the president. Today is the day, in 1631, they were officially allowed to vote for the president, the residents, I mean. Let's not forget one other thing happened in the history today that everybody is definitely aware of: Vietnam War. 58,000 American military died on this, because this thing started in 1960s, early 1960s. The Vietnam War started. And the last American troop came home was today, March 29, 1973. So almost 13 years, like a decade, when all this. So 500,000 troops were there. Out of that, 58,000 died. And the last one came up today. So that's why it's also known as National Vietnam War Veterans Day. Well, today also is a funny day. You can think of this because this news was funny. In 1848, how many of you know Niagara Falls in New York? Is in the border of the state Ontario of Canada and New York State. Today is the day that fall stopped flowing for one day. That was March 29, 1848. One day, the whole fall stopped flowing. And you know why? Because of the ice jam. That means what? It was so cold in March 29, and everything was jammed on that day, and it stopped flowing. Interesting to know about it, because who would ever think that a fall would stop flowing? Last but not the least for this day, I want, like we started the news bite with a happy birthday, and I would like to close my part of this segment of news bite by saying this: if you are a music fan, today is the day. 40 years ago, Pink Floyd's album, The Dark Side of the Moon, it was released. 303rd week on the US album chart. This became a huge thing. And Gary shared me this morning that during his college time, everybody were listening to this, The Dark Side of Moon. And I was fortunate to hear this when I was in Iowa and went to a concert where I saw Pink Floyd. So, Gary, if you are listening to this news bite, maybe you can tell the audience, especially the young kids, about Pink Floyd's album, and also how do you close today with this fun day. Thank you very much, Gary.
Thank you, Dr. Khanna. Yes, Pink Floyd, they had a number of albums before Dark Side of the Moon that were basically didn't do well at all. They really were searching for this sound. But once this album came out, it spent 303 weeks, more than any other album in history, on the top charts. Okay, so it was 40 years ago today that had spent already 303 weeks. It's one of the largest selling albums of all time. And when I was in college, everybody was listening to this particular song because the year I went to college was the year the album was introduced. So it was very popular.
Do you have the album by any chance in your fingertips?
Yeah, I showed it. I'll show it again. Yes, I can show it. It's just here's the album cover that we have. There it is, The Dark Side of the Moon. So it's just a light going out in all of the rainbows.
Like a prism.
Exactly. So they were more successful than they ever dreamed. And then they had a number of successes after that with other really popular albums, including Wish You Were Here and a brick, the wall. So they're one of the most successful albums of all time, bands of all time. And today is a fun day, Dr. Khanna. We like to always talk about fun days. I want to just say today is National Smoke and Mirrors Day. Okay, here you go, smoke and mirrors. So what are smoke and mirrors? Well, it's kind of a term to use when someone uses an illusion that they're trying to show something, but something else really comes up. And they're saying, well, how's that possible? What did my eyes just see? It's called Smoke and Mirrors Day. So basically, if you are looking for today, you can honor Smoke and Mirrors Day by just trying to do your best to show somebody something funny about an illusion. Okay. So we are on the air every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, a little bit after 9 o'clock at facebook.com/Khanna4Kids. Please join us there. Please join us on Friday at 3 p.m. We look forward to you. Please like our Facebook page. Please share it. Please go to our YouTube channels and please share it also. We're getting a lot more attention lately because we have announced, Dr. Khanna has announced that his initiative is now going nationwide, 50 states in 60 days. So we've already launched 4 states last week. We're going to launch more this week. So stay tuned and please visit us. Dr. Khanna, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gary. And again, like you said, the Smoke and Mirror Day, but Gary just announced about the 50 states in 60 days. It is not a smoke and mirror.
No smoke.
It is happening for real. Okay. We launched in a couple of states, like Gary already said. We launched in Illinois. We launched in Montana. We launched in New Jersey and New York.
Yep.
So we have 4 states that started from Tuesday. So 60 days, 50 states. So we are marching towards you. Those who are listening to us, if you want your state to be represented, please reach out to Gary Scarano at contactk.com, or the phone number is on right below Gary's thing is 302-746-2311. Please join us. And thank you very much, Gary, for having this wonderful sunrise. And it looks like, no, this Wednesday will be the last day of March sunrise.
Wow.
So
it goes fast.
Yes.